Question 257. What's invisible, but you wish people could see?
What, hang on, what is what?
Invisible.
Bigfoot.
He doesn't exist. That doesn't count.
Something invisible that
well,
you wish
I've
people
been
could see.
I've been watching this YouTube channel called by a chap called Bob Gimlin, and he reckons they do exist.
Well, I mean, if farts were visible, we'd be able to know exactly who dropped one.
I'll tell you.
Not usually. You'll tell you.
You can tell if it was me.
Well, that also means that anyone else would know if you did it.
You can tell
Well,
if
that's
it's
true,
me.
but-
And people go, who the fuck was that? They'll look around and they'll just see me sitting there like,
Blow your own trumpet.
I think honesty. Or lies. I wish
Ooh.
lies were visible. That would probably work better.
No.
Oh, yeah. So somebody lies and a big question mark appears above their head.
You know how fucked our society would be if people didn't lie to each other on a daily basis?
I think that society would adjust. I think you're right. I think if you threw our society into that situation now, I think it would go horrifically badly. But I think if it was something that
Yeah.
always existed, I think it would work fine.
Having said that, there are times when... Yeah.
I think it
Sorry,
wouldn't
Eric.
work because
Sorry, Pebble.
for me, it would make things go absolutely terribly because I do a lot of role play, which is entirely consistent on me saying things that are technically untrue.
No, you're not, though, because within the context, you're definitely not lying. That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what about the classic relationship things of, your girlfriend asking, does this make me look fat?
Yes, it does.
Yes, but the point is that you would have an honest answer that you could trust.
Yeah. And also they would understand, even though they would see that it was a lie, they would understand that it was an Aristotelian mean lie rather than an actual lie.
I know what you're saying, Purple.
Hey,
I'm going to
hey
agree.
Randy.
I'm going to agree with Dave Lister on the topic of lying and just say that lying is an important part of your psychological defense system.
Only in the
I
society
agree.
we've built up. I'm not convinced it is a required part of the human species. I do agree that everyone that has grown up in the society we have lived in, it is 100% essential.
But see, it wouldn't have evolved that way
Yeah,
if it didn't help our society in the first place.
Yeah, no, that's not necessarily true. Help our society, no. Help individuals potentially within our society, yes. This balance between whether or not you can get resources from people by lying to them rather than telling the truth is this payoff. And society can only support so many people that will obtain resources by deception.
And there are also things that have evolved that aren't entirely helpful.
Oh, lots of things.
Yeah, look at me.
This is why we're
Like,
trying to kill you all.
Like vestigial organs aren't entirely helpful.
They tend to become things.
Parasitic wasps.
Here's a question for you. Do you think there is such a thing as vestigial people?
Probably.
Trump?
Well, there are certainly people in society who serve no useful function.
Yeah, again, look at me.
Again, the problem you've got with that is serve no useful function is very hard to judge. Because you have to judge it against a standard, and no real standard we have, no standard we have, I would say, encapsulates any real meaning for existence.
How do you define what is useful and what is not?
Well, this is my point, in a much more long-winded way.
Does it make my life easier?
Yeah, the question, no, usefulness is a concept when we are applying it to society, and this is my
Me
point.
straight out the way.
You are useful to you.
I never claimed the criteria wasn't subjective.
I don't make anyone's life easier.
No, but you do make it more entertaining.
Yes. Watch this.
Telling that massive joke.
Watch this wonderful video by Alucard yesterday. You were featured prominently.
I was. Oh yeah, I was.
Yes, you.
Because I made the thing.
Prominently as what?
He did the artwork for Alucard.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Hey, Joan. I am loving your responses.
Well, the one advantage if lying were that obvious we would finally be able to tell which politicians were actually being deceitful and which ones were simply clueless.
And the point is, I think you would earn. Don't forget, an inability to lie does not mean you have to answer every question, or does not mean you have to necessarily be honest. I know it sounds a bit
I read
odd.
a book with that premise.
Say again? You read a book with that premise?
I read a book with that premise where everybody was constantly broadcasting everything going on in their brain
Yeah, that's horrific.
to everyone around them.
That's horrific because you've got no control over your thoughts.
Also, I think so. If like the way I'm thinking of this is it being represented by a color, and there being like a spectrum of color. So like things that are like blatant, out and out lies with no positive whatsoever would be seen in one particular color, and then it would be a spectrum going back up to the complete truth. So you could actually see where it's at.
Do you know what's really funny? Do you know what's really funny? With the
Would it be a ZX spectrum?
with the advent of realistic AR, we are not that far away from having probability of truth assigned to what people say.
No, definitely.
Okay, well, about 30-some years ago, when I was going to the Technical Institute, I decided to do a social experiment. And I decided I was going to give everyone an accurate and honest question to anything they asked me. The result was that within a month, no one would talk to me at all.
No. People don't want honest answers. I spend my entire life not giving people honest answers. Mostly because they keep asking how I am. And if I give them an honest answer, they don't want to know.
Yep.
The problem is they can't do anything. No one wants to know. You're in absolute abject hell. No one wants to know that. They want to know you're okay, so they can live their lives.
There's a few people who I give honest answers to about how I am. And it's interesting because I do a lot of online role play. So different characters that I play respond to the question "How are you?" in very different ways. Like one character just says "alive." Another character says something along the lines of "Oh, I'm quite well, thank you. How are you?" It very much varies depending on the mood and temperament of that character. I like the one that says alive.
Yes.
It's the most honest answer.
Says you're alive?
Right. Oh, wait. I've sidetracked us. Okay, because that was my answer.
Hi, Notcha.
Right.
Hey, Notcha.
Yes.
If
So
you're
we
up
all
for
still
it,
got
you want a
this.
question?
Notcha, get in here.
Don't tell him what to do.
Notcha, I cordially request that you join us.
Right. What is invisible but you wish other people could see? Avoiding my answer.
Is that what the question was?
Yes. We went down a very strong line with.
We moved on from that one.
I may have to have a larger question about lies.
Terry Davis is in the chat.
Yes.
Hey, Terry. If you're there.
How about ghosts? Then if we don't see them, we know they never existed.
The problem you've got is they. See, this is where right. I am about whether or not I could answer the question with God.
Come on.
If there are ghosts, that's going to make my masturbation sessions very awkward.
Why you pretended like they were there in the past?
I'm not going to stop. I'm just saying it's going to be awkward.
For you or the ghost?
Probably
Okay.
the ghost. Me as well, but I don't like having people near me just in general.
And
But
there's all the
probably
pseudoscience stuff. All the pseudoscience stuff you could wish it's invisible. But I think the question is specifically aimed at things that we know exist.
How about dark matter?
That is a very good answer. However, it couldn't be called dark
Would we be able
matter
to see
anymore.
anything in the universe if dark matter was visible?
Maybe not.
Oh, I'm
I
sitting
mean,
on.
yeah, we definitely know where it all was, but yeah, you might be able to. We might suddenly be just this one galaxy surrounded by black.
Yes.
Stress.
Stress. That's a good one.
Emotional stress.
Do you know what? It's one of those things. You know what things that really annoys me when I was younger? Less so now. Okay. I never looked ill. When I got sick, I never looked it. So I could get really bad flu or something like that, and I would look completely well. So people would assume I was faking it, or they would assume I wasn't that ill, or they would assume. And so at that point where everything is so much harder because you've got that. If they recognise, if you watch someone that's got flu and looks like they've got flu and looks like they're sick, you're so much more sympathetic around them. You're so much, and I think the same would apply to stress. And there are some people that do. That some people that the stress is really visible on them.
I had to consciously look stressed when I was unhappy in previous times in my life, because otherwise people.
Look, you didn't say previous lives.
In previous times in my life, I had to consciously develop a way to look unhappy, because naturally I just look blank, and I look blank whether I'm happy or not.
Yeah, same here.
So I had to develop like an unhappy face that I would consciously have on, so that people would leave me alone when I didn't want to talk to them.
Although what Dave was saying about not looking sick reminded me of an incident when I was in about 5th grade. That in gym class I was telling the teacher I was feeling sick, and he didn't believe me, so I threw up on him.
Oh,
Right. Gary says higher frequencies of light. I did wonder if we could
Higher.
see the entire electromagnetic spectrum to some degree. Would be quite cool.
I have
I
literally
have
done
an
exactly the
answer.
same
Some
thing
degree, not all of it.
No.
on the teacher.
Say again, Bill?
I was going to say my answer would be similar to that. But I'll go over it in a minute or whatever.
Go on.
No, so sound, right? I know you can see sound under certain specific circumstances,
Yeah.
like if you project sound over a liquid or whatever. But I quite like the idea of at some point in the future being able to sort of cross over the frequencies of sound and light. So like when you go to a gig or you go to a nightclub, as well as the sound coming out of the sound system, it comes out as a form of light as well. So
I can see what you're imagining, the various animations we've got where the speaker is giving off these the light with the
Yeah.
Yes.
So as well as being bathed in sound, I mean, a lot like modern sound systems, they're getting into quadraphonic, where the sound is 3-dimensional, right? You can actually move sounds about the room and stuff. So I'm thinking of another level of that being that you're literally just sort of bathed in sound and light, and it being like all around you. I just think that'd be really cool.
So that you mean when I go to a concert, instead of just going deaf, I'll be blinded as well?
Yes. That's their plan.
Have you ever been in a sensory room?
Yes.
Bill?
Absolutely love them.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Because I used to volunteer at a place that did music workshops for, lots of people, but one of the groups that it was aimed at was people with learning difficulties.
Right, Notcha.
And there was a sensory room in there, and
right,
it was awesome. I could have just sat in there all day.
I did. I used to sneak off and sleep in one.
I liked both, to be honest. I sometimes I like to have the sort of sensory, complete no sensory input and silence. You know, other times I like loads of sensory input. You know what I mean? It's depending on my mood, I suppose.
I've been curious about trying a sensory deprivation tank, but I've got a feeling I would be likely to hallucinate in a rather short period of time if there was no other inputs.
I think that's the point, isn't it?
I would
Yeah,
like
kind
to
of.
try it, but it makes clear that there is a very slight hissing in my ears constantly that really pisses me off if there's absolutely no background noise.
Have any of you guys heard about? Was it Aldous Huxley or somebody like that about their early experiments with sensory deprivation tanks and ketamine?
I don't know.
I'm
Well, that's a
guessing
great
not.
combination.
Very strange, very strange reading. Very strange. I can't imagine what it would have been like to actually have those experiences, but reading about it's interesting enough.
Sammy's bringing it back to farts. With there are some smells he swore he could see.
Yeah.
Right. I quite like the idea of sound to some degree, which would be pressure. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Alf. You're just in time to answer the first question because we've taken
Answer it.
Okay.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what was the first question?
What's invisible but you wish people could see?
Well, evidently you guys thought it was me, because you wanted me to see me on here so badly. But apparently it is me because I'm not on screen yet.
Oh shit! I don't know what you're talking about. We can see you, just they can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might not want to if you put me on screen, sis.
They can hear you, so
Yeah. That's all you need.
no one will be able to guess it's you.
To see you backstage is bad enough.
Yeah, there you go. See.
So what do you think wish people could see? Got to exist.
Certain illnesses, I guess.
Oh, being able to see if someone. Oh, do you know what? I hadn't thought about it the other way. Being able to see if someone's sick.
Yeah.
If we knew that they had,
That would be a handy skill, as long as you could turn the fucker off.
Well, see, that's kind of the question with all of these: is you want to see them with other people, but you don't want other people to see them with you.
That's how they. That's how you can lie. You want to be able to see when everyone else is lying, but you can lie.
That'd be a really.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to see when everyone else is lying. That would.
It'd be a really shitty.
Yeah, I
super
think that would be bad.
No, I'd like it.
That might drive you insane, actually.
Does anyone know where I put my fabric glue?
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
In your burrow.
Is that
It's
a
in the
yes?
second drawer in the white chest.
Is that a yes as long as you have no follow-up questions?
Yeah.
I told you, it's in the second drawer of the white chest.
Fucking own a white chest.
You do. You just don't know where it
didn't
is.
say you owned one. I just said that's where it is. You've got to figure out which house it's in now.
Or do I own a white chest?
Right, Joan. I said at the start we couldn't have things that don't exist, so we can't have gods or ghosts. What else did I say we couldn't have?
I still think that Bigfoot applies because that YouTube channel says it does exist.
Yeah.
There are people that think 5G distributes viruses. I think virtually anything microscopic would be interesting to see, although it would be terrifying. I mean, everything about us. I like the description of humanity in the Matrix.
I was going to say possible answers to this question would be Australia as well, but then I'm not actually sure that exists. So.
Well, Notcher's in the chat. I think he can confirm that it doesn't.
Notch, we need Notcher, yes. Hi, Jen.
Fuck it. Badger counts me as English, so that's the problem.
Trump's tax return. We have a winner.
One of those criminals that we shipped off to non-existent.
Oh, Morton says it has to exist.
Right. Where's my...
Oh, those are some good answers, weren't there? Sammy, your tobacco is with Badger's glue.
Okay, I'm just going to say my fabric glue as the answer to this question because I can't find.